Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about what I believe is the most athletic zodiac sign. And yes, it does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, first off, and this is going, let me just be kind of rewind. It's going to be part one of two. Anyway, first off, Aries can be a viable candidate. Aries is ruled by Mars, which can be connected with athletics, action, vitality, physical effort, strength, and competition. Mars is in its dignity in Aries. Aries are often very active and competitive and like to be first in things which can include sports. So matters connected with sports. So Aries has produced many prominent athletes like Sun and I believe Ascendant in Aries as well. Pete Rose, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the all-time career scoring leader in the NBA, and Peyton Manning. Um, who was first in a number of NFL records before Tom Brady surpassed a number of them. And Tom Brady, speaking of him, has an Aries moon. Now, the legendary iconic NHL player, Gordie Howe, was a sun in Aries, and he held a number of scoring records until Wayne Gretzky came along and surpassed them. And anyway, and Wayne Gretzky is an Aquarius sun. I believe he has Aquarius ascendant as well. And he was just, one of those athletes that seemed like he was a transcendent athlete that was far ahead of his time. But anyway, the next sign, I'll tell you at the end of part two, of course, whether Aries is what I believe, if Aries is the most athletic zodiac sign or not. Now I'm going to go to Taurus. Now, it's hard pressed to say that Taurus would be the most athletic of the zodiac signs. Now, a Taurus don't get me wrong, they could be very industrious and hardworking. If Taurus does indeed become an athlete, they could work very hard to attain goals that are associated with becoming one. Now, Taurus at the same time can also be indolent and lethargic. They may often be slow to start something, and that could include something sports related. Now, Mars is in its detriment in Taurus as well. Um, as an athlete, well, Taurus can be very stoic, calm, composed, and even downright unflappable. Retired NBA player Tim Duncan has a Taurus sun. He was called the Great Fundamentalist. He was somebody that was not overly flamboyant, but he just went out and did what he had to do and was very methodical in doing so. And he was counted on to be the scorer and a good rebounder for the San Antonio Spurs. And if I'm not mistaken, he did play his entire career with the San Antonio Spurs, which of course shows that Taurus, the very persistent and loyal Taurus energy. Taurus people can be very loyal and steadfast. And also, NFL superstar quarterback Aaron Rodgers has a Taurus ascendant, and he also is somebody that really has such an innate ability to keep his composure under duress. And I think a lot of that is figured prominently in being one of the more elite NFL quarterbacks. Now, don't get me wrong, athleticism, sports talent, talent for your sport is obviously vital. But when you're at the quarterback position, it's also very important to stay composed when you have to. And anyway, now going to Gemini. Well, Gemini can have an abundance of energy, but they could also be very restless and mercurial. They often won't stick with things long enough to become supreme at them. That could include sports and athletics. Now, as far as Geminis go in sports, though, they can excel in sports that require quick reactions like badminton, racquetball, or table tennis. Now, however, Gemini does lack persistence, and that doesn't really help matters. You look at a superstar LeBron James. He has a Gemini ascendant. Should say NBA superstar LeBron James has a Gemini ascendant. Sorry, he has been known for his versatility as far as on the court playing virtually, if not all, positions. There was an article about him one time in Sports Illustrated that was entitled "The Unique Ubiquity of LeBron James." I believe that was the title of it. Um, Another athlete that was very good was had a Gemini prominence chart. Jim Thorpe, a Gemini sun and ascendant, showed Gemini versatility by excelling in numerous sports. And that included football, baseball, and a number of events in the Olympics. Now, retired tennis great John McEnroe, who has a Gemini moon, he was perhaps showed that energy with his really showed energy with ability to react quickly when hitting a tennis ball. As far as the reactions, the quick reactions I'm talking about associated with Gemini. Now, the thing is, the moon, of course, is associated with reactions, responses. John McEnroe has a Gemini moon, and he was very, I mean, obviously playing tennis, very quick with his reactions, and he was a legendary tennis player. Now, another thing, I mean, I understand that Libra is really the sign I would say that is more connected with tennis, but Gemini energy can still be good when it comes to reactions and responses. Now, John McEnroe, hold on a second, people. John McEnroe also has a Libra ascendant, so that could mean obviously that played a role in him being very proficient in in tennis. So the thing about that is too, you look at him, uh, the Libra Ascendant Gemini Moon combination obviously was pivotal in him being successful in what he did, I'm sure. So anyway, um, another thing too is that the zodiac sign Cancer certainly would not be considered the most athletic. Cancer is dedicated and devoted and tenacious. But there often are homebodies and they may prefer more introverted activities in general. Keep in mind that Mars is in its fall in Cancer. Now, generally, you look at Cancer, they're not athletically oriented. They're not, but they have produced some good athletes. You look at Sun and Cancer, Andre Dawson, and who is a baseball player, and Barry Sanders, who some say is the greatest running back ever, was also a Sun in Cancer. But keep in mind, Barry Sanders also had his moon in Aries, so that might have figured prominent in him having certain athletic prowess and ability. Barry Sanders also has his Mars conjunct his Sun in Cancer, which can denote athleticism and perhaps ability for sports. Now, another thing too is that when you look at Cancer, I mean, interestingly enough, um, Jupiter is actually in its exaltation in Cancer, and Jupiter is associated with sports. But the thing is, I mean, sports, if Cancer does get involved in them, might be fortuitous for them. And but the thing is, the zodiac sign Cancer seems to gravitate toward activities and interests that are not overly strenuous, and that may be they may be more inclined toward creative work that as opposed to doing things that don't expend that much energy. Now, being physically fit may not exactly be paramount for many Cancerians. And of course, being fit is it's imperative for many athletes. And anyway, now I want to go to the zodiac sign Leo. Now, Leo can be a viable candidate as well as far as the most athletic zodiac sign because Leo does correspond with the fifth house in astrology, which of course is connected with sports. Leo has produced many dominant athletes, prolific NFL quarterback Tom Brady, has his son in Leo, NBA Hall of Famer. Karl Malone is a Leo sun. Arnold Schwarzenegger, revered bodybuilder, has the sun in Leo, and he is one of the most famous bodybuilders ever. Now, what I want to get to as well is that Leo I mean, when they're involved in sports, they don't want to. Many just don't want to, be well or better than average. They just want to simply dominate. And you look at Muhammad Ali, who was a legendary boxer, and he, I mean, dominated many of his opponents, and he certainly shined and stood out among the competition. Leo likes to shine and stand out, of course. Leo may also have near inexorable energy, and they often use that to flourish in the sport that they are in. Whatever Leo does, they often want to dominate again, not just be very good. They like to often subjugate the opposition, and that can be associated with sports related events. Now, going to the zodiac sign Virgo, Virgo, be hard pressed for me to say they be the most athletic zodiac sign. Now, Virgo in general is more inclined toward, you could say, intellectual competition as opposed to sports. Now, I don't know if I'm saying her name right, Anna uh, Ushanina, believe her name is a famous chess player, and she has a Virgo sun. Virgo people can be very analytical. They can analyze things, and they are ones that are really can be very good at the analytical side of sports now, or competition. Now, the thing about this is you look at Virgo, and they actually can be very healthy, and it's a sign that the sign Virgo does correspond and correlate with health in astrology. However, Virgo is generally not one that emphasizes sports competition or athletics. If involved in sports, though, Virgo may often utilize much analysis. Now, prolific pro golfer Tiger Woods, who has a Virgo ascendant, is certainly somebody that likely goes through much analysis before swinging on the golf course. Now, and also too in Virgo, when a Virgo is involved in sports, can have an uncanny ability to dissect things, defenses in many instances. Now, you look at NFL superstar quarterback Patrick Mahomes is of Sun in Virgo, and I'm sure he is phenomenal in dissecting defenses, which you have to be if you're going to be proficient at being a quarterback in the NFL. Now, former running backs Tony Dorsett and Earl Campbell both have Virgo rising, and I'm sure they were very adept in dissecting defenses as well. Anyway, people, that'll conclude part one of the most athletic zodiac sign, and until next time, people, Edwin Leonard saying stay well.